Hi, Fiona here again, Standards and Monitoring Officer. So, welcome to this session on what to do when it goes wrong. So, mistakes. We all make them, and when you're learning a job, there's going to be plenty of time when you get it wrong in the register. But I want to say, don't worry, because we've all done it, and this isn't a challenge, but you'd be pretty hard pressed to find a mistake that somebody in the office hasn't already made. What I've done here, I've got some entries in the register, and these, I've put some couple of errors in them. We've got two different types of errors. So these ones in the register at the moment are ones that we can correct on the day. So we can correct errors on the day when the register entry is not complete, and that is, the entry is complete when you put your designation on. So when you've signed at the bottom here and you've put your name and Deputy Registrar. Before that time, we can correct any errors very easily. So, errors can happen when you're writing the register page during a marriage ceremony, and in a minute I will talk about what happens when you make an error on a marriage certificate. But in the register entry, the entries, as I've said, before the entry is complete, they are two different types. We can have a numbered error, and we can have a case where you might have transposed the details. So you may have put the wrong information in the wrong column. We'll deal initially with numbered errors because those are the most common ones in a register entry. So it may be that you're busy writing your register entry and your mind has wandered off a little bit and you've written the wrong name. So I've been writing John and Patricia's marriage entry. I don't know about you, but I'm beginning to feel like I know them very well. So I was writing the marriage entry and I've realised that I've written John's name as John Herbert Cooper. And as you will remember, John's middle name is actually Henry. So he's John Henry Cooper. So this entry is not signed. The couple could well have been checking it, and John and Patricia have said, oh, his name's not Herbert, it's Henry. Alternatively, as I say, it could have been while I was writing the entry during the ceremony. The way to fix it is the same in both instances. So, if you have something wrong in the box, we do a numbered error. And in your pack, I've mentioned before, you have a document called an aid memoir. This aid memoir has the full instructions for a numbered error and also the back to front details or the entry that's transposed. So, I go to my aid memoir. It says to me that if an error is spotted within the body of an entry, the incorrect entry should be struck through by drawing a line through it. So I'm going to draw a line through the name Herbert. The information then tells me that I should write the correct details above it. So I'm going to write Henry here. And then, because this is a numbered error, I already know that there are 10 entries, 10 numbered errors in the register. So this is number 11, so I write 11 in the entry, just in numbers and in brackets so that we can see that that's there. I then need to write 11 and my initials in the margin of the entry. So All of this information is in your aid memoir. So what this means in doing this, adding the numbered entry, it means that we completely ignore Herbert. So we can see from this entry that John's name is John Henry Cooper. So that is how to do a numbered error. Feel free to practice, read your aid memoir for the instructions and as I say, practice, so make it correct. And this is partly why a few sessions ago, I think when we were doing the register, I suggested that you tried to leave yourself some space in the box because sometimes it can be quite hard to fit the writing in. So the other type of error that we can fix in a register before it's signed, so an incomplete entry, is when the details are written back to front. So there's an entry just here. Oddly enough, it's John Henry Cooper again, our old friend. So in this entry, you can see that, you may not be able to see, in columns 4 and 5, I've written under condition, I've written gynecology consultant, and under previous marriage dissolved, I've unfortunately written, or under rank or profession, I've written previous marriage dissolved. So I've got them back to front. So that's fine. As I say, don't panic, we can sort it. We wouldn't want to do a numbered error on this because it's just a bit too messy. So the best thing is to leave them as they are and follow the instructions for back to front details. So this says, if the particulars in any 2 columns have been inadvertently transposed, you should write in the margin of the entry a note of error in the following form. We're using all of that registrar's formal jargon again. What that actually means in practice is that we write in the margin of the entry, and the marginal notes all have to go in the column that's on the outside, so any correctional notes must be written in this margin, and in pencil we write the particulars in columns 4 and 5 inadvertently transposed. So then when it comes to writing your marriage certificate, you don't transpose them and you write them correctly. And this is because writing that note means that we have corrected this entry. So I've done one other error here. When I was writing John's father's detail, I've made him a hospital manger rather than a hospital manager. So again, that is a numbered error. What we mustn't do is overwrite. So don't try and overwrite to make something better. Overwriting bad, numbered errors much, much better. So in this instance, we're going to do another numbered error. We write the line through it. We write manager. We write 12 because we know that this is the next one. And then we write 12 and initials. So that's how quick and easy it is to correct an incomplete entry. So I keep talking about incomplete entries. The reason for that is once an entry is complete and you have signed it, then the only way an entry can be completed is if it goes to the Registrar General. And this goes back to our pink pro forma and asking the couple to check and sign to say that they have checked the register, and it says the Registrar General charges a fee of £90 to consider any corrections to errors that come to light after the register has been signed. So nobody wants that, which is why it is so important to get people to correct the entry or to check the entry very carefully. But as you can see from both of those, whether it's a numbered error or whether it's a back to front details, it's really quick and easy to fix. So as I said before, don't panic. You can sort it out. So the other errors that might happen on the day is, rather than with the register, it's with the marriage certificate. So we'll put the register away. Now, on the marriage certificate, and this is the one that Andrew wrote out for his session on pro formas and certificates, I've altered the date on here and made it say the 31st of June, when actually it should have been the 1st of June. It has to be said that when writing marriage certificates, if you're going to make a mistake, 9 times out of 10, it's when you get down to these bottom lines. So you're on the home straight, it's all gone swimmingly, it's all matching the register, looking perfect, and oh, you've written a witness name down wrong, or you've written the date down wrong, anything like that. And if that happens, that's when the red pen comes out, because we draw through the certificate, we write spoilt, we write our initials, and we write the date. Circle the error. Same thing on the counterfoil. Initials, date, and spoilt. That gets folded up and put with your pro forma and your blues. They have to come back to the office because we have to account for them. That's really important. Don't just shove it in your bag and forget about it. They are really important. It has to come back to the office just to be accounted for and then disposed of securely, because what we have on here is people's personal data. So you spoil it and then you start writing a new one. So this one, we've spoilt this one. I've written the details of the spoil on the pro forma, just as a record that I have spoilt it, and then I get my pen out and I write a new certificate. Again, don't worry about it. If this happens during a ceremony, make sure that you've got your register entry completed, and there will always be time after the ceremony to complete the certificate. And as ever, you will have your conducting officer to help you. So if you need a hand with any of that, just ask them. So that's the two different types of error in a marriage register. One when the entry is incomplete, so before you've signed it, numbered errors and transposed columns. Errors in a completed entry that go to GRO, we can't do anything about those, and then this is how to spoil a certificate. So that's our session on mistakes. So as I say, make some mistakes on your paperwork that you've got, practice doing numbered errors, practice with transposed details, and just play around with what you've got. And get the feel for writing on our registration documentation. Thank you very much.